Is energy efficiency central to it? Is there another message that we're meant to be going from Toyota's involvement in motorsports?
Good question. The question you asked Nick, where is it going? I have to confess, I have no bloody idea. I don't see any clear direction at all. But I do agree with Nick very strongly on one point, is that we need to take a long-term view and try and predict where the world of passenger cars will go and try and make sure that motorsport has some relevance to that in the future. I think the incremental toe in the water stuff, honestly, for example, KERS, I'm totally disappointed in that. I think it's a total waste of time, in my opinion.
Oh, well, that's a few $1 million down the drain. Okay, keep it going. It's good. We're warming up.
I would, Chris, I would encourage everybody to download this PDF book. It's called Toyota in the World 2008 off their website. It's a fascinating, it's a fascinating presentation of, or explanation of what the company's about their vision and their mission. They're so heavily vested in environmental causes and wellness and betterment of the world, you wouldn't believe it. So I'm very comfortable that I work for a company that's very, very, very green. As far as what do we know about green racing, as far as I can see, very little. For me, there's racing, which is a gladiatorial thing we do as an OEM to showcase our technology, our competitive behavior, to raise awareness of our brand. And then there's racing, which you desire to make greener. If we're going to make racing greener, then we have to set limitations on energy usage. We need to set, it needs to be a fuel consumption race or a emissions limited race. Again, to pick up on Nick's point, not this incremental, can I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't think it matters if the cars are electric or hydrogen or gasoline, as long as they're the same for every driver, as long as they are sufficiently demanding for human beings that there is some challenge to control them. Driving around at 5 miles an hour is not going to be interesting for anybody, the driver or the spectators. They have to be challenging for human beings physically, so that there's this gladiatorial element, and then the racing will be good.
So an interesting question to you is, it's slightly controversial in the United States, but Toyota being a good US manufacturer now of cars, is in NASCAR, like all the good American manufacturers are. How are you going to, what do you see when you have your conversations with them? Where are we going to go with NASCAR if you're trying to persuade the world to buy more fuel-efficient cars? In other words, who and when are we going to face up to that quite difficult way of selling cars? We're asking for convergence of some things which are fundamentally different, and herein lies the challenge. Here's a good example. At the Toyota annual dealer meeting last year, the Toyota executives reminded all the Toyota dealers that, or explained to them, nobody could really say at that point where the economy is going, where's the car market going. We can't give you any reassurance as to where it's going. What we can tell you is that Toyota in Japan is still spending $1 million a day on development of more fuel-efficient vehicles and expects to deliver the 100-mile-per-gallon car to the US market within the next 5 years. And in the next 10 years to deliver more fuel-efficient, greener passenger car technologies than anybody's ever seen before. They have an open plan office with 1,000 engineers working on alternative fuel technologies and on alternative fuel vehicles on a daily basis. So they will drive that technology forward. They also reminded the dealers that when Toyota introduced the Prius to the US market in 1998, the response from the dealers was, what do we need that goofy-looking car for? Who's going to buy that? And at that time, gas was $1 a gallon. And several months ago, there were 180 days of inventory of Sequoias and Tundras and 18 minutes of inventory of Priuses. So I think it's not difficult to see where it's going long term. So herein lies the dichotomy. NASCAR is a very strong racing series. It reaches more people than any other motorsport series in the US. As a marketing platform for Toyota to reach people who don't understand yet that Toyota is a good global
corporate citizen with a sincere intention to go to different markets around the world, work with the customer to identify what kind of cars they want, and to work with the local people to design and build those cars there and sell them to the local market. There are a lot of people in the US that don't know that about Toyota, and NASCAR provides a marketing platform by which we can reach those folks. Is it old engine technology? Yeah. Is it very green? No. Where does that go in the future? One would expect that with a new administration in the White House, that there'll be more pressure on NASCAR to be more environmentally friendly, and the question of relevance always comes up in these discussions. How much of that you can achieve short term in a down economy where you have to make sure that there's availability of equipment and the costs are affordable for teams, the stakeholders in the racing series, so they can show up on a weekly basis to race, is the question we have to answer. And I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, so you keep using the word short term, which is interesting. I mean, we're not looking at the short term now. We're trying to throw ourselves out 5 and 10 years. It will be interesting. I think what you're saying is, inevitably, NASCAR, which is one of the powerful brand makers for automotives over here, will move with those brand makers at the right time. But I am just concerned about the pale-faced gentleman at the end, who's now you've just ruined him. Toyota has just said, I hate, I'm going to bring